Our sisters pray covered, and we face the east towards Jerusalem. Elder Mikael, can you open us up, please?
Heavenly Father Yahweh, most holy and true covenant Elohim, Abraham, Ishaq, and Yaakov. Glory always be unto you, Father, and she was holy in thy name, because you are righteous, Father Yahweh. You are sovereign Elohim, Father Yahweh. You have created all there is that been created, Father Yahweh. And we give you thanks and praise, Father, for allowing us, Father Yahweh, to be able to come before you, Father, and worship you, Father Yahweh. Heavenly Father, I thank you, Father, for being so mindful of us, Father Yahweh. Even though, Father Yahweh, in Scripture, we don't deserve it, Father Yahweh. We give you thanks and praise, Father Yahweh, because you're allowing us to come before you. Heavenly Father, we pray, Father, that your mighty word, Father, come forth out my brother's hand, my brother's mouth, Father Yahweh, to go forth through the four corners of the world, Father, to touch who you made, Father Yahweh. I give you thanks and praise. We give you thanks and praise, Father, for your kindness toward us, Father Yahweh, your mercy toward us, Father Yahweh, your provision before us, Father Yahweh. Heavenly Father Yahweh, we ask, Father, that you use by name, Father, that your word touches in that soft area in our hearts, Father, to continue to keep our hearts valuable, Father Yahweh, that we may find you, Father, as we seek your holy name, your name in your face, Father Yahweh. Thank you, Father Yahweh, for lighting up our road, Father Yahweh, that we may follow your path, Father Yahweh. Father, when we tip to the right, tip to the left, Father Yahweh, that you nudge us back onto that road, Father Yahweh, by your mighty mercy. Give you thanks and praise again in Yeshua's holy and mighty name. Amen. Amen.
This is Leo's sister? Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice to see you. Let me go.
Brother Wesley.
Oh, Mama.
And Mama's like, left her out.
So you came out the woodworks, Mama. You didn't even. I would have been spending the whole class getting that look like you can't say hi. Any questions? Yes, Brother Jonathan didn't say hi.
Yeah. What is the law regarding the elders?
So you're rebellious, it's not love sin. No, I was talking that shit up. Alright. I am burning up. I got too many shirts on. Because they don't know if we want to be cold or hot outside.
Right.
Whoa.
All right. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. My name is Yadon Yasharah, my brother Yanti Yasharah. Shabbat shalom. And the title of today's Shabbat study is Love Not the World. Love not the world. And we are instructed in the scriptures to love not the world and the things in it. Because when you grab a hold of material things, you lose sight of what the true gift is. The true gift is not the material thing that you receive. The true gift is the gift giver who's allowing you to have these things and being merciful to us, even though we are not worthy, not one of us. So we are taught to, the greatest commandment is to love Yah with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength. And in to do so, you cannot fixate your love onto the things of this world or people that are of the world, and prioritize that or them over the love of the Most High, because you're going to have to make a decision. You can only have one master. You can't have two masters. You're going to love one and hate the other. So we're going to go through this precept. Let's open up in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6. And we're just going to read 1 through 12. And again, for some of the newer viewers, this is an open forum. We have questions or comments on either YouTube, Facebook, or if you're on the phone line, feel free to chime in and offer your 2 cents or ask any questions.
Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 6 and verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahweh your Elohim commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you go to possess it. That you might fear Yahweh your Elohim, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you, you and your son and your son's son, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged.
All right, so this also comes with a promise. So you have the promise, honor your father and your mother so your days be long. And then you have again here, to keep these commandments is going to extend your days, because it's going to bring peace in your life. We know stress alone is a hard killer. You have that lady, that the newscaster lady that just passed away here in Atlanta. It was Amanda Davis, right? Was that her name? Just passed away. She had I think a stroke or what was it? A massive stroke or coronary or whatever. A lot of that is, our diet and, our health and things of that nature. But stress can cause that, because it causes, was it Sister Marshall, was it cortisol or whatever?
Stress hormone?
Yeah, the levels to go up higher for stress. And we understand in the commandments, it says when a man's ways are right with Yah, even he has peace with even his enemies. So that will keep you less stressed out, which will extend your life. And that doesn't mean that the people that don't like you are not just gonna love you all of a sudden, but they might be so busy dealing with the things that they done reaped in their own lives, they don't have time to deal with you or mess with you. And that's how you can have peace, by just not having to deal with the people that don't want to be righteous towards you or themselves. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 3. Hear therefore, O Yasharal, Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahweh Elohim of your fathers has promised you, in the land that flows with milk and honey.
So not only with your health, but also your increase, so that you may increase mightily. So if the commandment is keep these commandments so I can increase you mightily, and we don't keep the commandments, then it would make the Most High look like he's an unfair judge if he's just going to say, hey, I'm going to allow this person to receive all these riches and all the spiritual gifts by not keeping the commandments. Now, you can get the material things of this world. The adversary was quick to try to offer that away, but you're not going to have the true peace, the peace that Yahshua said that he was leaving. He said, I leave to you peace, but not the peace of the world. That's different. The peace of the world is vanity. I got all these things, I got all this money, and I'm good until that problem happens. And then that problem happens where your money can't buy you out of that situation, and now you lost your peace. But us believers and commandment keepers, we understand the nature of this world period. This is a place of captivity. This is a test. We're not living in heaven. That's not where we're living. So we're going to have those problems and those stresses, but we know how to deal with them because we understand all things work for the greater glory of the Most High. So we trust him that we do what we're supposed to do, that he's going to work things out. And that alleviates some of that worldly stress that we have to deal with.
And you know, in addition to this is like a meditation that came in earlier in the week to give what we're learning today some more context. You're not gonna know, for anyone that deals with electronics, you're not gonna know how to like rewrite an app or do anything unless you have like the user's manual.
Right.
And like if you're gonna use a program, you can't write your own program unless you know like the language it was made in, whether it be Java, C+, or whatever. So the same thing with life. We're not gonna know how to get things to work in our favor or how to make life less stressful or let it work for us unless we know the creator or unless we know like the language that all life was written in.
Right.
So if we know the moral code and the moral language, we can now, you know, get a little bit more comfortable in what we're doing, and we don't have to like search through life blindly. We know the creator. You're not gonna know the app unless you know the person that wrote the app that can tell you what all this language means. So we have to do the same thing with our lives. We're not gonna know why nothing is working in our lives unless we know who created all of life. Yah. And once we know Yah, once we know what his commandments are, it's like the Matrix, you know, you can see all the sixes and the zeros and the ones. You're like, oh, that's what that means. Oh, that's what that means. And we could allow the scriptures to become living.
Exactly. And that's a great analogy. And our nation, the children of Yasharah, we the IT directors. We in charge of that whole department. We not only the super users or the regular users, but we are the directors. We're the ones that make sure that we understand how the system works and when things are out of order. And then we in turn teach the rest of the nations how to use the software. So what happens when, you know, we decide, you know, we ain't gonna do our job? Then you got people, you know, loading up viruses and doing all kinds of stuff and messing up the system, causing the system to crash. Yep. So that was a great analogy.
And I'm glad you brought that up too. Like any company, you know, someone said, oh, I can't send this email. Who are they going to call? The IT director, because what? They've been studying the assembly language. They've been studying what code all these apps are in. They know what's going wrong. But if you're slacking off on your job, you're going to see the degeneration increase.
Right.
And that's what happens in our community. Our leaders aren't teaching us the law, the importance of it, and it's reflecting morally in our community and the things that we do and accept and perpetuate.
Now you got the marketing director sitting here trying to tell, you know, the company how to work through this problem. He's like, look, take this water, throw it on your computer. It cut off, didn't it? It works, right? Nah, bro. It will cut the computer off, but you're going to create a problem. And that's what we have in our system with these people trying to teach us our law.
Correct.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. Hear, O Yasharal, Yahweh our Elohim is one Yahweh. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart.
So when Yahshua was asked that question and he answered that and gave that, you know, he didn't just pull this stuff out of the air. He is the word in flesh. So his answers are going to be directly out of these scriptures because, again, he said, I come in the volume of this book.
Verse 6. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates.
So that's where that commandment comes, where, you know, you're supposed to post the commandments in your house and on your posts outside and your gates. So when people enter into your land where you're responsible for, you can't go into City Hall and post that up there in the land of your oppressors and say, hey, this is the laws you're going to follow. No. But when you come into our democile, our property, these are the laws that you're going to follow in here because this is our area.
Verse 8. And you shall bind them for a sign. Oh, verse 10. And it shall be when Yahweh your Elohim shall have brought you into the land which he swore unto your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Jacob, to give you great and goodly cities which you build not, and houses full of all good things which you filled not, and wells digged which you digged not, vineyards and olive trees which you planted not. When you shall have eaten and be full, then beware lest you forget Yahweh, which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, from the house of bondage.
All right, so beware. Least when you receive all these things of the world and all these blessings in your life, this is when we have the tendency to forget the Most High, because we get caught up in everything and we start feeling ourselves. We have to remain humble when we receive those type of gifts, because then we start feeling like, well, we deserve this, because not that Yah is merciful, but we are good people. We did all these works. And that's when we tend to forget. And the main precept that he wants you to grab out of all this is to love Yah with all your heart, all your mind, soul, and strength. And how do you do that? That's not in your mind to decide. He gave us instructions and told us this is how you love. So we have to learn the language of the computer. We have to learn the software. We have to learn how to utilize and how to use it for our particular job. And utilize that. If we are in the sales department, we ain't supposed to be in the HR department, the programs doing all this stuff. You're going to mess some stuff up. Stay in your lane. So we are the children of Yasharah. We are to be the administrators of this whole righteousness. So we have to learn these things, and we cannot keep Yah number one in our lives if we are creating a love for the gifts that are in this world. You're going to have to make a choice. Your whole time here on this earth is to prove that you can keep the greatest commandment. Despite your situation, can you love Yah with all your heart, all your soul, mind, and strength? So let's move on. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 4. And we're just going to read verses 11, because when Yah sent his only begotten son, Yahshua, HaMashiach, Christ, into the world, all those tests and all those things that we have to pass, he is the prototype. He's going to have to show us how to do that. And this is why he came down here in the flesh, so that, man could say, well, he's a spirit. He's in heaven. He don't got to go through. He didn't have to look at that sister that just walked by. Nah. He came down here in the flesh and had to deal with the same situations to the extreme that we'll deal with, and show us how to navigate in the flesh, but walking according to the spirit, while being in the flesh. You have something, Elder?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that, brother, that, a lot of people may not understand that, because Yahweh, the Son is holy, that, and sinless, that he can have those type of, temptations.
Of course, right.
But if you go to the Garden of Gethsemane, where he had to pray to his Father because he knew it was about to take him, he was in such heavy stress that he sweat blood, literally. And when you get to sweating blood, it means that you were so stressed out on the inside that it started manifesting itself on the outside. And then when he went to tell his Father, it just cut the past from me, which is letting you understand that, yes, he was giving into the flesh because he felt and saw the pain of his flesh would have to endure. But then he said, no, not my will be done, but your will be done. So he became an overcomer of the flesh, which he's trying to teach us to become. Don't give in to the flesh, the desires of the world, the temptations of the world. No, become a spiritual being. Lean unto the Father and trust on him, and our strength will become strong. Because we weak, Yeshua is strong. So
right.
All those things are imposed in what my brother just said.
Right. And that's another example. Your body, your flesh is of this world. You were made here in this earth. So you're not even supposed to love that. You're supposed to protect the temple, and you're supposed to make sure that this property of the Most High. But when it comes down to making the decision between your fleshly temple and the Most High, you're supposed to choose the Most High. That doesn't mean you're not going to have that fear, or you're not going to go through that stress and call out to your Father that you don't want to go through that. But like the brother Elder brought up, Yahshua had that same, look, they about to torture. Don't nobody want to go through that. So he's like, hey, if there's another way, I'm all ears. But I know what I came here to do. And even though it's going to be against my personal flesh, I'm going to do it because I love you more than anything else in this world. Plus, I know you giving me the power to take it back. So this is what we understand, that we go through these same situations. We understand that the Father can give it back to us. So why would we know we can't hold it forever, no matter how hard we try? Look at what's his name, even Rothschild.
Yeah.
And he just died. Was it Jacob Rothschild that just died? Or was it
going through a bunch of heart transplants?
Yes. Yeah, he just died, literally. So yeah, all that multi-trillions of dollars you have cannot help you. You cannot hold on to it. But the Most High can give it back to you. So wouldn't it be smart to gamble with the one that can give it back to you rather than with yourself? But we lie to ourselves in vanity and say, hey, listen, we can extend this time here. But if you're an individual like that has done so much wickedness that you know you're not going to repent, you might as well ride it out. Have a good old time because you know there's nothing for you after. But we, on the other hand, we're in a position where we can still repent. We know that within our heart that we can still try to do something different. Go ahead, Elder.
Just wanted to add, this is not come easy for none of us. So, brothers and sisters, don't believe that, that we just going to walk in this and automatically going to happen. No, this is a practice thing. I mean, if anybody understands, you play any athlete or you practicing cooking or you're practicing whatever, you cannot become good at it unless you put the time in to practice it. You're going to fail, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, we all do. But the more that you practice, that's how you're going to play the game.
Right.
If you practice bad, you're going to play bad. So if you practice the best that you can, then you're going to do the best that you can in the game. And this is what this is. This is like a big, large play. Everybody has a part to play in it. It's just very serious.
Right. And that's absolutely right. Just from my own personal experience, when I filmed an action movie, we had to, for months, fake punch and pull the punch back. So after doing that for so long, so many repetitions, when you film a sequence, they film the same thing 50,000 times from all these different angles. So I got used to punching really fast and pulling back really, really quick. So when we went back to the mat and did real punching and fighting, it took me a while to stop snapping my punches, and my instructor had to say, stop pulling your punches, because he was actually the fight director, choreographer, so he knew, he could recognize what I was doing. And because when you go in real life, that's what you're going to do. You're going to be doing all this stuff that looks nice, and it's not going to do anything. So you got to practice how you're going to play, to even when we practice and we punch, we actually punch each other, hit. And we pull back a little bit because we're not trying to hurt each other, but we're actually connecting with each other. So with these scriptures, it's the same thing. You're not going to sit here and practice reading it all day long and blah, 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 talking it and not enacting it in your life. Because when it comes into play, what are you going to do? Talk about it and not be about it. So we're in Matthew chapter 4, Matthew chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 1 through 11.
Then was Yeshua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If you be the Son of Yahweh, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh.
All right, so off rip, as soon as he received the Spirit of Yasharah in his baptism, in his immersion, and he is now full-time Israel, the son of the Most High that was there in the beginning, is now holding the vessel. He's the only person in the history of creation that was able to retain the Spirit, because he was the Spirit. And his body was created, and the only body clean enough to hold the Spirit of Yasharah 24/7. So after he has this, the adversaries are like, well, let's see how Israel, let's see how you do. Now you got to face the same thing that man got to deal with. Let's see. You done fasted 40 days and 40 nights. I know you hungry. Go ahead. Forget the reason you doing and go ahead and satisfy that flesh. And Yeshua gave us the perfect example how to deal with the adversary, the devil. When he tried to convince you to do something that is not going to be giving glory to the Most High, you hit him with some scripture. You don't sit there and you don't got to argue with him. Hey, well, why are you telling me this? You shouldn't be doing. Nah. Hey, look here. Yah said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Elohim. And we're going to read this pattern here, how the adversary tests him. He don't sit and argue. You don't got no control over me. Give him some scripture. That's what you're going to see here. And what you're going to see is we think that when we get attacked, that we so important that the adversary going to hang around full time to get us to fall. Because if we fall, oh goodness, the world going to end because we that important. If the adversary fleed from Yahshua, he going to leave you in your life with the stuff that you got. He looking for easy targets. But what he did, he to the top. Because if I can get this man to fall, I can knock all of them out. Go ahead, Elder.
I just want to add to that, once you realize that enemies come to you to knock on your door, and you realize you've also slipped up, you got to remember, if you're going to speak this word into your life,
It's dope.
you have to believe in what you're speaking about. Because they tell you, they give you a comparison in this book about some people who saw Paul, rebuke demons, rebuke devils, and so forth like that, and they obeyed him and left. Well, they said they want to do the same thing, so they went to the valley where these demons were. And they want to rebuke and adjure and rebuke the demons that Paul, and the guy that Paul said, the Messiah that Paul said. And they said, well, we know Yeshua and we know Paul. Who are you? And they beat the living hell out of them. They beat the clothes off of them, where they had to run screaming to learn their lesson. You just can't use these words because they're written in the book. You have to believe. You have to try and live these words. And when you speak these words, he's going to know the strength in you. Because the Spirit's going to show you that light's going to shine on you when you speak these words. Because you believe in the words that you're speaking on. So don't think you're going to fool our Hasatan or his minions. No, they're in the game to win. They're not playing games. We can't play games either.
Right. Them spirits, they like, who is you? You ain't, where your angel at? I don't see no angel around here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know him, and I know him. Who are you? Oh, you ain't got no angel? You ain't got no hedge? I don't see no protection around you? Oh, we finna have it. That means it's open season. Because if they ain't no angels sitting here, right here like this, waiting like, I wish you would mess with the anointed. They gonna do what they do, because it's free reign. Hey, that's what we do. He said, I create light. And I create darkness. I create good and I create evil. Go ahead, brother.
Matthew chapter 4, Matthew chapter 4 and verse 5. Then the devil take him up into the holy city and set him on a pinnacle of the temple and said unto him, if you be the Son of Yahweh, cast yourself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest any time you dash your foot against a stone.
So he tested his stomach first. Let's test your resolve. You're hungry. Are you gonna use your goodness to satisfy your flesh? Pass that test. All right, he good with that. Well, maybe he's just not a hungry guy. The next test is let's pride. Since you the top dog, you ain't got to worry. Go ahead, show off. Papa Willie. Go ahead, Papa Willie. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Yahshua said unto him, it is written again, you shall not tempt Yahweh your Elohim. Again the devil takes him up into an exceeding high mountain and shows him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things will I give you if you will fall down and worship me.
And now, anytime the adversary, the devil, talks to you, don't listen to him. He's lying. You know for a fact, that's one thing you can guarantee, that if Yahweh's speaking to you, you hearing the truth. If the adversary, the devil, speaking to you, it's going to be against the truth. How you going to give everything? That's like me going to the CEO of Ford and saying, here, you see this parking lot? All these Fords in your assembly line in Ford, where it says Ford. All this I will give you. Just fall down and worship me. Bro, what kind of pimp you got to be to sit there? You trying to convince the creator of all things that created everything. Hey, it's mine. It's mine now. I'll give it to you. Just fall down and worship me. And then the creator is sitting here looking like, man, I came from the architect. I was the one that created. And you trying to, he not finna sit there and even argue with him. What'd he do? It is written. Go ahead.
And like you were saying, you can't sit having a conversation with the devil because he's lying.
He's a liar.
But the problem is that a lot of us, our discernment isn't developed to know what's the lie and what's the truth. So you have to definitely get in his word so you can identify immediately, like, no, that's not true. That's not true. If they don't come according to the law and the testimony, is because there's no light, in them. So you have to make sure you know what it's saying, because what the flesh does is when it doesn't know necessarily what's right and wrong,